Hey everybody, welcome to episode 27 of Round the Twist. It's February 17th, 2010, and we are in the middle of the Olympics. So this week's show is going to be a little bit shorter because I don't really have a whole lot of content to talk about, and you'll see why in a bit. So let's start with the non-knitting Olympics stuff first. I know I showed you this last week. Partially done. The first pink work sock is complete. All the way down to the toe. Actually, I think I finished this last Wednesday after I finished talking to you guys. You know, I really can't remember. That's really sad, but I'm going to blame the fact that I worked the weekend and I'm sleep deprived. Started the second sock. I have half the ribbing done, 10 rows of the ribbing. However, this is no longer being knit on simply because, hello, Olympics time, as many of you know. There are two huge events. Wow, I'm scattered tonight. Sorry about this. The Trekking XXL in colorway 53 and knitting it over 72 stitches on my 2.25 millimeter needles. And someone asked over on the Rav boards what gauge I was getting. In the stockinette portion of the socks, I actually measured up here on the cuff, I'm getting 9 stitches to the inch and 16 rows to the inch. So fairly tight gauge, and so far all the other socks that I've knit in the same manner are holding up pretty well inside my dance goes at work, and I wear them constantly, so we'll see. They do show a little bit of wear, like right here at the heel turn, around the heel turn, but it basically is just felting a little bit, which is good for socks, because that actually just strengthens it more, and that's on all the ones I've worn, obviously not this one yet. But moving on, Olympics time. So pretty much everybody that I know not everybody did this, but pretty much everyone I know cast on for some project last Friday night, either at 6 p.m. local time if you were participating in the Rad Olympics, or as the torch was lit, let's see, Central Standard Time, where I'm at, it was like 10:45 when they finally lit the torch. It was ridiculously late. Which is good for me because I was at work. My Knitting Olympics project, I decided not to participate in the Rav Olympics this year, and I was holding out. I'm like, okay, I've got 2 work weekends in here, because I switched with a coworker to give him some time off for his mom's birthday, so I'm working 2 separate weekends during the Olympics. It's just, I've got so many work nights and so many just single nights off, where normally when I only have one night off, I don't feel like knitting. I just use it as kind of a recovery time. Just lounge around, relax, clean the house, take care of the normal stuff. There are nights I don't even feel motivated to knit. And typically on a Monday following a work weekend, I don't knit that much, which will play into my story in a little bit. But last minute on Friday, I'm talking like 6:15, I leave for work at 6:30. I decided I wanted to do Yarn Harlot's Knitting Olympics, which she decided to do again this year that she did 4 years ago for Torino. And it's basically set yourself a goal, something that will challenge you to complete in 16 days. Cast on when the torch is lit. You have to be completely done with your challenge, your goal, whatever, by the time the torch is extinguished at the closing ceremonies in 16 days. So I went stash diving. I've had the Ishbel pattern by Isolde Teague. I bought it, a couple months ago, and I've just been hanging on to it thinking this will be a great little scarf thing, just to throw on, and it'll be awesome. So I pulled out that pattern, actually printed it out. I hadn't even printed it, and decided to do the large size because I went stash diving. Let me show you what I decided to use. This is my Handmaiden Sea Silk, the 150 gram put up in amethyst. And I've had this sitting out in my stash room for I can't tell you how long, sitting on my sewing desk in there. I have this. I also have a blue color that I don't know the name of. And who can be calling me at 11 o'clock at night? I'll bet you anything that's my mom. Hang on, just a sec. Hello? Hey, Sarah, I'm actually in the middle of recording. Can I call you back? Because you're live on the video cast right now. They can't hear you. Okay, I'll call you. Give me like 10 minutes. I'll call you back. All right, bye. Okay, that was actually my friend Sarah, that the socks for Sarah that I keep talking about, that was her calling. And we have a Phoebe. Just a second, we can have a little Phoebe cameo. Come here. Okay, never mind. Somebody wants to play and doesn't come on. No? Okay, she's being a poop lately. Anyway, the Ishbel, where I was. Since I have the 150 gram put up, I had gone through all of the, and this is a feature I love with Ravelry. You can actually go in and see what other people have used, and it will, there's a tab once you find a pattern that it will list under the projects all the yarns that have been used. And a lot of people have been making the large size Ishbel and using the 150 gram put up of the Handmaiden Sea Silk. So I pulled that out, I got it wound, I got my needles already, and Friday night I passed meds like lightning, and I got my, no, that's right, okay, sorry, had a moment of panic, I thought I'd dropped a stitch. As the first cauldron was lit, that whole 2 torches thing was really confusing, but when the one inside the arena was lit, I cast on for my Ishbel. And I am at, I believe I'm at 183 stitches, and I'm doing, on the stockinette portion, I am doing the large size, so I need to go up to 221 in this stockinette bit before I do the lace on the edge. I had a little bit of a setback, so that whole, I normally don't knit on Mondays because I'm too tired thing, turned around to bite me in the butt. I'd done a whole bunch of knitting at work. I think I was out to 170 some odd stitches, so right about where I'm at now. And I did several rows while I was watching the Olympics and watching various other TV shows. And all of a sudden I went to count, and rather than having an odd number of stitches, I had an even number. I actually tinked back 8 rows of this Sea Silk, because the Sea Silk will, if you drop a stitch, it runs at the slightest provocation. I had dropped one at work on Sunday night, and with just dropping off the needle, it laddered down 4 rows before I even got it set down on the counter in front of me. So I was kind of scared about just pulling it off the needles and ripping. Well, 8 rows of tinking, that's a lot of stitches. I decided, you know what, it just needs to be ripped. And I was all set to rip out the entire thing. Start over completely. Didn't have to. I ripped back, I believe it was to about here. So about, I think I had a total of like 79 stitches across. So I pulled back over 100 stitches, which if you figure 6 rows, 6 stitches increase for every 2 rows. Someone do the math. It was a lot of stitches, but pulled off the needles, ripped back, picked up. No problems. I have knit back everything. I am back to Virgin Sea Silk that has not been knitted. And I should be able to get the stockinette portion done tonight, provided I don't have another little snafu like what I had. I'm hopeful that I'll make it through. Keep your fingers crossed. And I hope next week I'll be able to show you that I am into the lace pattern and not say, oh my gosh, I had to rip back again. But that's where I'm at. I hope your guys' Knitting Olympics or Ravelympics projects are coming along just as well. Maybe even a little bit better, since you might not have had to rip. And yeah, that's really it. I've really got nothing else to show you because it's been knitting on the pink work socks and knitting on the Ishbel, and that's been it. I haven't touched anything else. That's what a work weekend does to me, as you guys, I'm sure by now, know. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. Keep knitting, keep cheering on the Olympic athletes if you're watching, and have fun. Happy knitting.